Hi everybody, I'm Evan and you're watching JumpTV, and I don't know if a lot of you actually know this, but I'm a big vinyl music collector as well. I support artists of all kind, independent, artists starting out, or if I go to shows and I see bands have vinyls, I try to do my best to buy them, because more often than not, if it's a smaller band or they're like getting going, it's awesome because they're usually right there and then they can sign it. So it's like, yes, that's super awesome. But sit back, hang tight, and I'm going to show you what I got as far as vinyl. Let's take a look. I'm not going to do the entire vinyl collection just because I have quite a bit, but I'm going to show you about maybe 10 of them that are kind of like my favorites in my collection. One of my favorites is the Coffin Cats Born of the Motor, and I actually saw them, I think it was back in 2013 is when this came out, so this is almost 10 years old. But what's really awesome about it is I met actually all three of them, and they all signed it for me, which was really awesome. These guys are a psychobilly band from Detroit, Michigan, and psychobilly is basically rockabilly music, like with a stand-up bass, mixed with punk, so it's really, really fast, it's really aggressive. There's a bunch of good songs on here. This is also on iTunes and Apple Music, Spotify, it's on all of that. These guys are a really good band. The singer is also the stand-up bass player, and the dude just shreds on stand-up bass. It's super, super killer. Speaking of another band that was really amazing live, these guys are from Oakland, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these guys are called the Phenomenauts. I actually saw these guys, when did this come out? This came out in, I think this was 2014, 2015. I saw them in Rosemead with my buddy's band, SoCal Rocket Dynamics. And the bass player for SoCal Rocket Dynamics actually works for Insomniac Games, so it's really cool. These guys are like a sci-fi kind of rockabilly mixed with like elements of ska. They have a lot of dudes in their band, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think they have 7 people now, but they're a really good band. I really like the artwork on this vinyl, and then they have all their lyrics all on their the inside of the insert, which is super, super awesome. Those guys are really cool. I'm actually going to be doing a whole separate video on this band because I almost have a full set of their vinyls, and I'm really working on it. But one of my favorite bands of all time is Tiger Army, and I have a pretty big Tiger Army collection. I have their early years EP, which has 6 songs on it. But I really, this is another band with a stand-up bass. As you can see, there's kind of a theme here. I have their first album, which is right here. Their second album, Power of Moonlight. Their first album was self-titled, so this is the second one. This is Power of Moonlight. The third album, which is one of my favorites, this one's called Ghost Tigers Rise. This one has one of my favorite Tiger Army songs, which is What Happens. It's song number 8. I really, really like their logo. I love their artwork. This is my favorite Tiger Army record of all time. This is V... or 5. Nick 13, who's the singer, says it's V... because this is actually Morse code, and it's a reference to during World War II when the Allies won against the Axis powers. Every song on this album is phenomenal, and it's really cool because it opens up like this, and then here's a picture of Nick 13, who's the singer right here. But there's a song on this album called Dark and Lonely Night. I think it's song number 6 on this album. It's actually the song I'm going to be dancing to with my future wife to at our wedding. So I highly recommend checking out Tiger Army, and then their latest release is Retro Future. And this came out in 2019 under Rise Records. This one's good. I think the one beforehand was a little bit better, but it's really good. Tiger Army are a 3-piece band. They have a stand-up bass, but if you guys are familiar with AFI, they sound a lot like AFI if they had a stand-up bass. So it's kind of cool. They have like a really, really unique sound. And in a whole separate video, I'm actually going to be doing a deep dive into Tiger Army and talking about all their albums. I'm missing 2. I'm missing, they did a LP or an EP, for this song they released called Dark Paradise. I don't have it yet, but it's a smaller one. And then I'm missing album number 4. It's called Music from Regions Beyond. Anytime I go to a record store, one of the first places I look to is T, because I'm trying to find this vinyl, and it's really hard to find. Now, my favorite band of all time, is Bad Religion. Bad Religion is my favorite band because if a lot of you actually don't know this, I'm actually in a band myself. We're called Black Market Theory, and we have our own separate YouTube channel as well as music on all the online retailers. And I am very influenced by Bad Religion. Greg Graffin, the singer, is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to pursue a career in teaching, because he's in a band and he also is a teacher. So that's, yeah. My favorite album of all time is Suffer from Bad Religion. Every song on this album is pure just genius. I highly recommend playing the whole album start to finish because it's only about 20-something minutes long. It's super short, but this came out in 1988. So Suffer from Bad Religion, there's a kid on fire in the suburban cul-de-sac area. Such a good album. My next favorite would probably have to be Recipe for Hate. This one, it actually came out in 1993, which was when I was born. And I love all the songs on this album, especially Skyscraper, which is the second to last song on this album. I also, every holiday season, have to bust out Bad Religion Christmas songs. They do their versions of old religious songs, as well as Father Christmas, White Christmas, and they redid American Jesus, which is on Recipe for Hate. I haven't opened this one yet, but this is their newest album called Age of Unreason, and the only reason I'm not opening it is because I have it digitally and I can just listen to it, so I'm going to try to keep it in as pristine condition as I can find it. But I actually picked this up at Amoeba Records in Hollywood before my band played with Doyle from the Misfits. So that was a really fun thing. My second favorite band of all time is The Offspring. And this album, Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace, was the reason why they're probably one of my favorite bands. I was at the very first show of this tour in 2008. It was at the Irvine Spectrum, which is now called the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater. But this album is incredible, and it's one of those ones that opens up like a book as well. But this was actually the very first vinyl I ever bought myself with my own money. So this album, it's a little crusty looking because it's had some use. This album will always hold a special place in my heart because it was the very first one I ever bought. But I did pick up their newest release, which is Let the Bad Times Roll. I really like this vinyl because this is actually a Target exclusive, and it's, get it out of here, it's like this like lemonade like yellow color, and it's really, really, really cool looking. I actually haven't christened this album yet. I haven't actually played it on my record player yet. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I love playing my vinyls, I do, but a big thing for me is I like to try to keep them in as perfect condition as I possibly can. This is something that's a little bit newer for me. I actually just started collecting video game vinyls, and I didn't actually know these were a thing until recently. But this one was the one that came with the We Happy Few collection, which I did show in one of the early videos on JumpTV. And I gotta cover that because that's the download code. But this is the music from We Happy Few, and it has 2 sides, and the vinyl on this one is like a trip. So if you're easily hypnotized, look away, because it's like, ooh, it's like a spiral, like lollipop kind of thing, which is like really, really trippy. But We Happy Few was a really good game. I was really stoked to find that. My favorite shooter of all time is Battlefield 1, and I was super stoked to get the vinyl soundtrack for Battlefield. This has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a video game ever, especially Dawn of a New Time which is it's the last song on side B, and it's also, I forgot what part of the campaign it is. I think it's during the Gallipoli missions. It's the guy that's sitting on the cliff and he's looking out at the warships just blowing each other up, and there's this like Turkish woman singing, and it's gorgeous. This was one I actually bought recently, and this is one of the coolest things I actually have in my game collection, in my opinion. But this is the vinyl soundtrack for the Diablo 2 Resurrected collection. It's the entire soundtrack from every single part of the game. If you open it up, it has classic Diablo 2 and remake Diablo 2 on this side, which is awesome. But this is actually a double edition vinyl, and you got some of the characters on the fronts of the covers, and then it's like this like blood splatter black and red, which is so metal. I love it, I love it. And then the other one is the same kind of thing. It has the other sets of characters you can be, as well as the blood-stained like red color, which is really awesome. Some of my vinyls are not complete. I am missing the sleeve for this one. This album is called Phantasmagoria. This is from The Damned. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, start to finish. I think it's really good. It's almost like a Tim Burton-y kind of vibe to it, but this album's actually white, which is really, really awesome. But this is one I definitely recommend everyone check out. This is one of those albums where it's really fun to listen to on like rainy days or when it's really dark outside. I really like that one. Another one of my favorite bands, well, my favorite genres are punk and metal, as well as like bluegrass and stuff like that, but I do have a soft spot for like oldies like Frank Sinatra and other things like that, because when my grandfather passed away a few years ago, I actually got basically his entire vinyl collection. So I was really stoked to have that. Most of them aren't in my apartment right now. They're either at my dad's house, my mom's house, or wherever. I just don't have a ton of space to store my vinyls right now, but once I build the JumpTV room, I'm gonna get them all out. But this is another one of my favorite albums. This is Social Distortion, Let the Hard Times and Nursery Rhymes. I almost forgot what it's called for a second. But this album is really, really, really good. If you guys are familiar with Social Distortion, Mike Ness, who the singer is, I swear to God, I always say this. I said this in one of my history of rock and roll class. Mike Ness is kind of like our version of Johnny Cash, just of the things that he sings about and the things that he talks about. This whole album is so good. He has like a raspy kind of voice. It's like punk, rockabilly kind of music. Such a good album. Machine Gun Blues is such a good song, and then he also has a song on here called Bakersfield. And every time I drive through Bakersfield, I like have to play it. It's like a must. I'm only going to do a couple more just for today, but like I said, I love punk music, and another one of my favorite bands is the Descendants. I'm actually going for a full Descendants vinyl collection. I only have 2 right now, but this is Everything Sucks, and this is Hypercaphium Spazzinate. So this is their second to newest album. The singer for the Descendants, his name is Milo Ackerman, and he's like this nerdy guy with glasses, so I definitely relate to him on a spiritual level. But Everything Sucks is such a good album, and they sing about really goofy, quirky stuff. I mean, the logo is kind of a representation of him, and they sing about like coffee and relationships, and it's just really funny. And then Hypercaphium Spazzinate was the album that because they didn't make a new album for a really long time, but this album was the one that kind of reinvigorated my love for the Descendants, because for a while I didn't listen to them, and I was just like, oh wow, they're putting out a new album, that's super cool. Here is one of the older vinyls in my collection. This one is from 1987. So this is the Cult Electric, so they're a British invasion like rock band. These guys are super, super awesome. This is one of my favorite albums from the Cult, the other one being Love, but yeah, this is Electric. Wildflower, Aphrodisiac Jacket, and Love Removal Machine are my favorite songs on this vinyl. I have a few other ones. I'm actually going to show 2 more. So my next one I'm going to show is, if I can get it out, this one. This album really holds a really special place in my heart. This is Frank Sinatra, All Alone. And these are really, really depressing Frank Sinatra songs. I actually don't know when this album came out, but I do know that it's one of my really old ones. I want to say this is like 70s. It doesn't have the date on this one, but there's a song on this vinyl called "Oh How I Miss You Tonight." It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And then the last one I think I'm gonna show, just for this video in particular, is, I can't even decide. I have so many good ones I want to show. Let's show him. My fiance is really big into Billy Joel, and Billy Joel is one of our artists that we really love to like play and listen to together. So this is my favorite. I mean, it's a greatest hits album, but if we're talking about Billy Joel, I love Glass Houses. This album's really good. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, how can you not love Billy Joel? But just the things that he talks about and the things that he sings about and writes about are so just relevant no matter what point you are at in your life. So yeah, we really do love Billy Joel here. But that was kind of a quick little look at some of my vinyl record collection. I do have more, but like I said before, I don't have all of them like here right now, or they're just kind of all over the place. But eventually, when I have enough space, I'm gonna bring them back out, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, the next video that I do with the vinyl record collection stuff is going to be the Tiger Army album reviews. So be sure to look out for that, because that one's going to be really fun to do. This is kind of a shorter video, guys, just because lately I apologize for not keeping up to date with my videos and my social media. I've been really busy with just my things in my personal life and just trying to finish things for the state to become a teacher, and it's really been really tough just to kind of balance everything. So I apologize. I know that JumpTV is going to be doing 20 episode seasons, and then we're going to be taking about a couple of months off, like here and there in between filming, just to get like new ideas and collect more and do other things, because I'm also in a band. I'm also in Black Market Theory, and I've realized that, I mean, we're coming out with a new album this year, and that album has been put on hold for a few years because of the pandemic. So I've been having to juggle JumpTV and Black Market Theory. So you won't see as many videos as frequently for the next couple of months, just because I'm working really hard with my band to come out with the album. And hopefully we're aiming for June, July. But as always, guys, like and subscribe. I love all of you so much, and I'm trying to do everything I can to give you the best content possible, because, you know, I'm a newer person on YouTube, and, you know, I'm trying to do what I can with what I can, and I love interacting with all of you and talking with all of you, and I'm meeting a lot of cool people in this experience, and it's just about, you know, having fun and doing the things that you love. Do more of what you love. And at that moment, at that very moment, my kitty cat decided to come down and say hello to all of you. So this is Cheeto, everybody. Cheeto, why don't you say hi to the people on YouTube? As always, guys, like and subscribe. I'll see you next time in the next video. Have a good one.